In 2016, a new TV show hit the digital airwaves and needed a podcast dedicated to chronicling its adventures. An elite team has been assembled for this task. Unfortunately, the world's listeners have not heard of this Wonder Twin duo. And although they may not be known now, in the future they will be referred to as tomorrow's legends.
Hocus pocus, alakazam!
What on earth are you doing, Flash? And what are you wearing?
What? What do you mean? This is my sorcerer's robe. I'm practicing magic. Since this season is all about magic, I thought I'd better get prepared.
I don't think it's that kind of magic. I mean, the season hasn't even started, and you're already embarrassing me.
Oh, come on, Harley, lighten up. If I can try to be accepting of our show being the goofball of the bunch, then you can at least be a little more accepting of me being the goofball here. Let's have some fun.
That's a point I can't argue with. You know what? Do you have an extra wand laying around? Here we go. Let's see what I can do with this thing. All right. Abracadabra, alakazoo. Your legs are heavy, so I can finally catch you.
Hey!
And now, here are your hosts, the fleet-footed Flash and his hammer-swinging partner, Harley Quinn.
Welcome back to Tomorrow's Legends, everybody. I am the Flash.
And I'm Harley Quinn.
Hello, Legends.
Oh, Gideon is here with us, too.
Hello, Gideon.
Wow, welcome back, everybody. Legendaires. Oh, my God. I am ready for this. Harley, are you?
I am so ready. I'm ready to be back into it. Ready for the show to come back.
Especially after watching the newest trailer, which we're going to talk about.
Yes. It was very exciting.
It was. So we're here, guys. This is our preseason kickoff episode for season 4. We're going to talk a little bit about the news that we've heard coming out and some of our thoughts about last season and what we're hoping for going into this new season.
Yep.
Well, where should we go first? Should we just get right into like our impressions kind of that we talked about from last season? Because we've been thinking about it. And as we were preparing for this preseason episode, we started, going over everything that we had experienced last season. So I guess we can talk about that first, eh?
Yeah, I'd say let's kind of see how we ended up feeling about season 3, and then we can dig into some news in season 4 and see where everything goes.
Sounds good. Why don't you kick it off?
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say I have not done a rewatch of this show over the summer, but I still feel that Legends was the strongest of the DC shows last season. I mean, it was consistently great for me. I mean, I think everyone at this point knows I don't watch Supergirl and I don't watch Black Lightning. So of the 3, for me, we've got Legends and Flash and Arrow. And Legends, it was just consistently better than Flash and Arrow was all season. I mean, they each had their moments and they both hit their strides. I mean, I think Arrow really picked it up toward the end there once they got rid of all the newbie crap. And then Flash was kind of all over the place. They were just up and down. It was a roller coaster last year. So for me, Legends, it kept going up and up, especially in that second half of the season. It was really good. I'm actually really looking forward to having Constantine as a resource this season. We're going to get into this stuff with the trailer, but I like that he's going to be able to, I think, bring a little bit of balance to the show, because what they're going for is potentially going to be extremely goofy, albeit apparently violent. But I think having Constantine there may help to keep it a little bit more grounded, not like in a grounded in reality sense, but just in it just can't be like too totally crazy goofy. Like there's going to have that dark undercurrent to kind of bring that down and break it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. And then speaking of Constantine, I was actually trying to do a watch of Constantine over the summer of all of season 1 that I never got to see, and of the animated series.
Well, how many episodes did you get in on it?
3. I think I was on episode 4.
I think it only went 10, right?
3. Yeah, I mean, it was short. It would have been a quick thing to finish up, which I was trying to do while it was available to stream, but I just couldn't quite get there. So for those of you that have watched it, make sure you chime in this year because there's probably some stuff we may miss if they do callbacks.
Yeah, because I haven't watched it myself. But let me ask you though, even though you watched 3 or 4 episodes, did that give you a bit more of a taste for Constantine, and that's why you're looking forward to him being on our show regularly?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Plus, it was filmed in Atlanta. I know they don't film this in Atlanta, but it was just kind of cool to see parts of Atlanta during when you're watching the show.
A little bit of homegrown creepiness for you.
Oh, man. Yeah. So great.
Man, he owes so much to Stephen Amell because Stephen Amell is the one who went to bat and took the producers to town to get Constantine back somehow in the DC universe. And look what's happened since then.
It's crazy. It's great for him. And good for Stephen for being able to do that. So
yeah, he's such a leader in so many ways.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I like him. Well, what about you? I talked for a while.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of with you. I didn't get to rewatch this season either. I was busy all summer trying to catch up on all the other shows I got behind on, and I still didn't finish all of them yet.
Oh, dear.
I'm going to contend with you just a little bit about Legends being the best.
Yes.
For me, it wasn't. I think there was too many episodes that were up and down, kind of all over the map last season. You know, they went from a really great episode or two, and we're just like, yeah, we love the show, and then they completely dropped the ball and threw in a stupid one, and you know the ones I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
and to me, that made it inconsistent. Whereas I, much preferred Arrow myself. I mean, Legends, I agree with you, by far better than Supergirl. I mean, everyone knows I'm not much of a fan of Supergirl. I watched it just to keep up with the universe, but I'm so tired of the romance, that's a relationship show. It's not a comic book show. And you're not really missing much with Black Lightning. I know everybody is just raving about it. It's the best one of all of them, and frankly, to me, it's so slow, dull, and drawn out. Nothing ever happens, and it's so hard to keep up with, so I might drop that one this year. Yeah, that's just my feelings. As for Flash, like you kind of said, for me, Flash was the best for its first 3 seasons, hands down, but it really fell from the King of the Hill position last season, so I'd put Legends in at the second spot overall behind Arrow. Those are the 1, 2, and then the other ones really, really struggled to even be in the running at all. But definitely Legends and Arrow, the best 2 shows.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm going Legends first, but I'm going Legends, Arrow, Flash.
Cool. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So other things I wanted to say, like after the newest trailer that I mentioned that just came out, I'm actually a lot more excited for this season of Legends than the initial trailer they led with, because the initial trailer didn't show anything, and we'll get into that. Really, it just is like, I don't know what they're doing with this. But now it looks like such a fun season because they're turning all the revered magical fantasies like unicorns and fairy godmothers into evil, murderous freaks. Now that's a twist I can get behind. It looks just like, sorry if this is a spoiler if you guys haven't watched the newest trailer, but when you see a unicorn run someone through with its horn, that's a shock that I absolutely love. That was awesome. Can't wait to see the full sequence of that. And in Fairy Godmother just being a wickedly evil, she's more of a wicked witch than she is a fairy. It looks like so much fun. And all I can say is I apologize to all the kiddies out there because their wildest dreams of rainbows and fairy tales are going to get squashed in this season, I think. Yeah, so I already talked a little bit about Constantine. He does look like he might be a little bit more fun with him being full-time regular this year. Just from this newest trailer, it looks like he actually might be fun, and him and Sarah are going to be interacting quite a bit. So my door's open to it. I'll see what happens as we get into this season.
There's a lot to talk about.
There is. Well, let's get into the news first. We got a few things we want to talk about news, so we'll start with that.
We interrupt this podcast for a special report.
All right, so why don't we start off with a return date, Harley, because that's like right around the corner.
It is right around the corner. We are returning on Monday, October 22nd. And we have haven't we always been at 9 p.m.?
No, we were earlier. We were at 8 o'clock.
Oh, well, it's pushed back to 9 p.m.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Yep.
And of course, we are on the CW. So I think because of that and because of how we're recording, we're going to go ahead and set our feedback deadline on Wednesdays at 7 Eastern. How does that sound?
Yep. I think that will
That'll
work out
well.
good for us. So if the show is airing Monday, you're basically having almost 2 full days to get us feedback. Because we're going to be recording Wednesday nights. So if you can get it in by 7 p.m. Eastern, which is Harley's time, or 5 p.m. Mountain for me, that still gives me an hour or so to kind of get the feedback out of the emails and into our soundboard and ready to go and stuff like that. So Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, guys, for feedback. Keep that in mind.
Awesome. Yes. And we'll post that in the Facebook group. I cannot speak today.
Rust, Harley, just shaking off the rust.
I know. We're working it out, guys. All right, but other news related to our return date. We don't have any breaks as far as I can tell right now. So right now we're running from October 22nd through December 10th. And if my math is correct, because of how late we're coming back, there's no room for any breaks. So they're not going to really be able to shove one in there, I don't think. All the episode titles have been released. If you would like to see them, I don't think they're super spoilery. I think they're actually kind of funny. So if you kind of feel like checking them out due to, Flash's dislike for that, I didn't list them in our show notes, but they are all out there if you want to see them.
Well, sometimes titles can give away what's coming in the episode. So it could be a spoiler and it could not be. Sometimes they're misleading too. So
yeah, as of right now, I don't have any idea what they could possibly even come close to meaning. They're all kind of like play on, not like quite a play on words, but like a play on a common phrase or something like that. It's very interesting. So we'll have to see where they go with that.
And something that's exciting that I'm going to piggyback onto this news about your straight episodes is we're actually got a 20 episode order this season. That's 3 more episodes. We've been riding on 17 for the last 3 seasons, and now they're doing 20. So, woohoo!
Let's hope it doesn't feel drawn out or like they're putting filler in there. I think with 20 it won't, but we've been used to 17. So.
Yeah, but I think with Legends, I think a couple times we were feeling like, man, I wish our show wasn't ending. I want more. So I think that is going to fill that gap for us. Whereas Arrow and Flash sometimes go 24 episodes or 23.
Oh yeah. True.
I think 20 is going to be the magic number for this magical season.
I like what you did there.
I want to go back to that and touch on the 9 o'clock time slot, because we have been at 8 and it's been predominantly kind of a family-friendly show, except with some of the, there's been a few things they've been messing with. But I think the change at 9 o'clock, what it has me wondering is, with Constantine coming on full-time and the magic and the way they're twisting things up, I wonder if that's allowing them to maybe push the boundaries a little bit more, get a little bit darker, a little bit, okay, we're not going to be as family-friendly as we used to be. We're gonna do some stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting to find out, because Arrow's traditionally been the darker of all the shows, and they've always been an 8 p.m. time slot as well, haven't they?
No, they were 9 o'clock.
They were?
And now they've been pushed an hour earlier to 8 o'clock. Yeah, I know. To me, it's weird. But they could be looking...
confused.
Yeah, I know. It's strange. But they could be looking at it that play Arrow first, the darker, more serious drama, and then lighten the mood afterwards with goofy Legends.
Yeah, I don't know. It could work well. We'll have to find out.
I guess we'll see. We'll check it out. Something else that we wanted to bring up this season, we've been discussing behind the scenes, that we want to make a few small tweaks to the format this season. We realized that some of our episodes ran pretty long last season, and although that's only because we have so much to talk about, usually, we still wanted to trim it down a bit. So what we've decided we're going to do is we're going to be cutting down the quotes of the week. I know, that's the favorite section of everybody, but instead of drawing out our podcast with 12 quotes to play, we're going to do 3 of each, 3 funny quotes and 3 serious scenes, no matter what. So what that's going to do is it's going to make it harder for us to decide. But what it's going to actually do is give you guys the best of the quotes that are available from that episode. So hopefully with 3 of each, it'll be a lot more focused, and people will really have to decide what their favorite one was. And I think it'll improve the quality of the ones that we choose.
Yeah, I think it'll just be more manageable all the way around for us, for the show, just in general. So I think it's good.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. And then the other thing that we're talking about is we've had the nitpick section running for all 3 seasons, and we quite often discuss nitpicks throughout the discussion points, and then we end up coming all the way around back to it again by the time we get to the nitpick section at the end. So we thought, why not let's just cut that section out, give it a try. We'll just talk about them as we go, and that will help also shorten it by a couple minutes at least.
Yeah. I mean, we'll work it in. I mean, we always work it in anyway. So this way we won't have to either feel like we shouldn't talk about a point when it naturally comes up, or it won't, draw out with us belaboring certain points over and over again.
Exactly. And that's what we're talking about. We just want to refine the show. I mean, this is our 4th season going in. Me and Harley are feeling kind of getting to that seasoned veteran level now of doing this. So we want to refine our show and just keep making it better and better for everybody. Yeah. One last thing to mention, we just want to remind everybody about our Patreon page. That is there for you guys to help basically sponsor us and our show by doing a monthly donation, and it just helps us cover our show costs and hosting costs and everything like that. And we put a lot of hours of work into this, so it's basically you guys saying thank you to us by helping us out a little bit, covering some of the costs. So just remember that is out there, and that there's also Legends merchandise available. You've seen a few people posting pictures on the Facebook page. Just go to that page actually, and you'll see, I think it's still posted at the top, all the stuff that is available.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff out there, so definitely go check it out. It's in the announcements section on the Facebook group. Exactly.
All right, let's dive into some talking points about what's coming up. Actually, first, hold on. You've got some... you've got some, what are we going to call this? A poll?
We both have polls.
We both have polls, yeah.
My poll is controversial.
All right.
Are you ready for me to dive in?
What do you got?
All right. I'm sorry, Flash, but I wanted to start with the most contentious point of season 3. Bebo.
Oh, really? Are you really going to kick us off with Bebo talk? Here I thought you started liking me, and nope.
Oh, don't kid yourself. No, I'm just kidding. I just wanted to get it out of the way, and it kind of came up at one point during the summer, and I ran a couple polls. I did one on Twitter and I did one on Facebook, and then I have combined the results because it was very fascinating. I think there's probably a couple duplicates between Twitter and Facebook, but not as much as you would think. So for Twitter, I'm going to give the breakdown here. We had 52% of our Twitter followers said that they love Bebo. Over half.
Oh, my. Those
on
poor
Twitter.
Souls.
I know. 19% were kind of like, whatever with it. Didn't love it. Didn't hate it. Just whatever. And 29% hated it on Twitter. So
they are my best friends.
I know. So we flipped this poll over to Facebook, and this is where it gets a little interesting. So 23% of people on Facebook, 23% love Bebo. Only 23.
Big change.
Yeah, huge change. 45% were in the meh, didn't love it, didn't hate it, and 32% hated it. So what I did is I weighted the responses, because there's a different number of people between the groups. And so the fascinating thing is the breakdown is roughly a third, a third, a third.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, 37% overall do love Bebo. 32% were meh, and 31% hated it. So it's pretty fascinating.
Pretty even across the board, although the lovers eke it out a victory just slightly. But... yeah,
a little bit.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. But what
I choose to see it as like 2/3 were meh or hated it. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it.
yeah, so maybe they're just tired of hearing about it, and it's like, yeah, let's just move on, guys. Come on.
Yeah. The writer's room, man, I'm telling you, the writer's room think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. They freaking love it.
Well, and I think I don't know if it's later in the notes you were going to talk about some of the actors themselves, what they think about it.
Oh, I'll talk about, let's do your poll, and then I'll get into Dragon Con. That's where it comes up.
Cool. Well, to rival your poll, I thought I'd get our preseason stuff kicked off with a poll of my own, asking who is your favorite legend? And the winner with 9, he got 9 of the votes, was Mick Rory.
Nice.
Just edging out number 2 with 8 votes, Sarah Lance.
That surprises me.
Yeah, well, it surprised me because I know how many people love our Captain Sarah, but I think Mick, especially last season, was really, really growing on people because he's fully embraced the role, being himself and replacing Captain Cold, and he's now won over all the Captain Cold fans to his side.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I love Mick. I love most of the characters in general.
Yeah.
There's very few I just don't like.
Yeah. Well, and rounding out the lot, like number 3 was Constantine, which is kind of funny because he's not even a full-on legend yet. And then Ray Palmer comes in 4th, and then Gideon in behind that. So it's kind of hard because there are so many characters that, like, I did do a separate poll, not really a poll because you couldn't break a poll up. I did a separate question where it said rank your top 5 favorite legends, and that was kind of interesting too. Looking at that, Mick and Sarah were jumping back and forth between 1 and 2 spot. Gideon was in there, Ava was in there quite a bit, so it was quite interesting to see. But like you said, I'd
probably put Zari and Nate in my top 5. I didn't rate mine out, but I put Zari and Nate in my top 5.
Well, Zari's in there. She was my number 2 or number 3 for sure.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Zari. She's one of my favorite characters on there. And Ava is also becoming very popular now so I can't wait to see her
a
full-time
I like her
season.
too.
So yeah, so very interesting kind of the way things are going.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Mm-hmm. All right. Tell us a bit about Dragon Con.
All right. So as everybody knows, I attended Dragon Con this year, as I do most years. And there was not a very big Arrowverse presence this year, and there were a handful of actors from all 3 shows. So I only ended up being able to go to one of the panels, and the one that I happened to attend had Victor Garber, Brandon Routh, and Tom Cavanaugh. And it was fantastic. Like they were all so much fun. But the key things that I kind of took away with that was the first one, which kind of made me angry all over again.
Uh-oh.
Was that Victor Garber wants to come back to Legends now that his Broadway run is over, and he was not at all involved in like the decision to kill his character at all. He was so sad. He was like, how can you guys bring me back? I miss everybody. Like I miss my family. And I was like, oh my God, please come back.
Oh, that is so surprising. Holy cow, you're bringing a tear to my eye, man.
I know.
Victor.
See if you can find the Dragon Con panels on YouTube if you can, and try and find that one. It was a really good one.
Well, that's crazy about Victor Garber. I had no idea that he was not involved in the decision at all. I thought he asked to be written off because he's choosing to go to Broadway. I thought that was all him. That is shocking.
That was my assumption as well. And so I was encouraged, I was sad, I was angry. I hit all of the emotions during that panel.
Yeah, but so how could we speculate? How could they possibly bring him back? They killed him. Okay, time machine, easy answer. Go back in time, stop, But would that ruin the emotional moment that it was? Like, how many times do people die and come back again in this Arrowverse? And everyone's kind of getting sick of that, right? So
I don't think they're ever going to bring him back full time. My personal opinion, as much as I would want that, that's why I didn't want them to kill him. I wanted them to give him the happy ending. I harped on this a lot last season.
You did.
Not going to keep harping, but that's why writers.
Let's listen to our fans. Someone out there, you must have a really good fan fiction idea of a way to bring him back, other than just going back in time and doing it. Let's come up with something really cool, a good way that would work, and not just be like, oh, again, bringing someone back. I'd love to hear a cool idea.
Yeah, I would too. But another one of the funny things, though, at this panel was someone did ask Brandon Routh how he felt about Bebo, and he never out and out said, "I do not like Bebo," not once, but kind of the look on his face, and he kind of pauses, and he kind of was just like, well. And it was just the way he answered it. I distinctly got the impression that Brandon Routh is not a Bebo fan. So
he didn't want to say it publicly because he might get in trouble.
Yeah, I also did not watch the San Diego Comic-Con panel where Bebo appears. So yeah,
I didn't know that.
The guy that plays Gary, dressed up as Bebo, and he appeared at the San Diego Comic-Con panel. So,
and that panel went to hell.
Yep, in a handbasket. But
Well, all I can say is that is one legend on my side. I always knew Adam and the Flash were buds.
I love Brandon Routh. He's such a good guy.
Cool. Well, if you are fairly new to our show, do check out our last episode that Harley released, her Legends episode all about Dragon Con. She was part of a fan panel, so you can check that out.
Yeah, that was super cool.
I kind of laughed at it because you were getting pretty snarky yourself with the guy running the panel because he was so annoying. Oh my God, that guy does not deserve to run a panel ever again. And I love that you were kind of getting on his case a little bit because it was fun.
Yeah, it was interesting. So give that a listen. And if you guys just in general want to hear more about my experience at Dragon Con, you can actually check out some friends of mine that do a Mr. Robot podcast. It's called Automatic for the People. And you can find it pretty much anywhere, but I posted some links on our blog post for this episode. So that go to the two episodes that involve me. So,
all right, well, let's talk about the trailer that they showed at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, so this was the first trailer that we alluded to that most of the scenes were actually from past seasons. Yeah. And so I thought that was interesting. I did like the bit where they got to focus on the final battle, and that was the one from the finale, with Bebo and Mollis and the stuff that we didn't really resonate with. But what I liked them re-showing that footage is the whole time is like Sarah's speech that she gave just before the battle was playing over it. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really much new in this first trailer, but they did piece it together kind of in a nice way that reminded you of what went on last season. And
yeah. Of the new scenes that we saw, there were only a few. We don't get more of the new stuff until the extended trailer, but Sarah does call them heroes, which was kind of cool instead of screw ups. So that was kind of a nice change. So maybe they'll be trying to play up the hero aspect of it a little bit more this year, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, I liked the way she was saying it. I can't remember what other legend she was saying that to, but she had this air of being proud about it. She was like, we are heroes now. Like, look what we've done. And I just like that she's proud and she's happy and she wants to, take the team and say, look, this is what we can do now. So I'm excited that she's really taken on that leadership role even more strongly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've liked her as the captain. I've liked where they've taken her character. I think she by far has been developed the best and the most. And so I'm enjoying where they're going. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this next season holds for her.
Yeah.
The other thing we got here was that we got the new tagline, which is we screwed things up for the more magical.
And that's Ray that says it, isn't it?
Was it Ray or was it Nate?
Oh, maybe one of the two of them, but either one. They said it was such kid-like giddiness again, which is great because both of them were kind of losing that in the end. They're excited kid in a candy shop nerding out about something kind of vibe. So I'm glad that it looked like they were excited again.
I really hope they they do their characters better this season. I would say that's one of the things I'm looking forward to, is if they can kind of bring their characters back around. But
Yeah, to their broing out with each other and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, I mean, that can be fun, but too much of that can be annoying too. But
Well, how about no more romances either? Let's just stop the romance on the ship with Nate and whoever. I mean, we know we're going to get Sarah and Ava together, but that's
I'm
fine.
okay with that.
Everyone loves that relationship because it's a fun one. But Nate and Amaya, enough. We're done with it. Let's not get that back. Let Nate be himself the way he was introduced on the show, a nerdy historian, excited to be time traveling and getting to witness all of his history that he loves so much in first person. Let's get back to that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, there you go. That's all we got for that. But the new trailer that came out, trailer number 2, the official one, it just came out a couple of days ago, and it is all kinds of new stuff in there. I mean, they show much more of what kind of season this is going to be. As I alluded to in my opening, there's magical creatures that are totally opposite of what you expect them to be. And like I had already said, it looks like the 9 p.m. time slot is going to allow them to get a little more violent, a little more shocking, which is a good thing in my books. And what I mean by that is we talked about the unicorn. They're all happy to see the unicorn. It's all beautiful and rainbow tail, and you know, they think it's great, and it looked like you said, it looks like it's during Woodstock, and everyone's just, oh wow, you know, they're all high on something, and then the unicorn charges and spears somebody with its horn and flings her around, and it's bloody and gory, and you're just thinking, what is going on here? And exactly the same reaction that our legends have.
Yeah, I think, is it Mick that yells "burn it" or something?
Yeah. So, and then they show clips of the fairy godmother, and she just starts casting spells to hurt people instead, and she's wicked and evil and nasty. And
was she in Salem?
Yeah, I don't know.
It looked like she was in somewhere, like it almost looked like she was supposed to be in Salem or something, and I was like, huh, where they're going with this?
I don't know, but she's definitely not what you would think a fairy godmother should be, and yeah, so and then there's clips of, it looks like they're going with a Chucky, if you guys know the Child's Play movies. There's a Chucky type episode coming with a scenario where there's a bunch of killer dolls running around on the ship. That looks like a lot of fun, because those Chucky movies they're not bad. They can be pretty freaky, because everybody's woken up in the middle of the night and thought that the doll or the piggy bank or the whatever is looking at them. Everyone's had those fears before, right? So this could be a good total creep out episode. So they're just going all over the place. If you haven't watched this trailer, go to YouTube. We'll post the link in our show notes and on the Facebook page, maybe even. It's trailers. It shows you exactly what's coming this season, and it got me so much more excited than I was.
Oh yeah, me too. It definitely gave you a much better feel for what's coming. I feel a lot more excited after having seen this. Not that I wasn't excited, but they didn't show us any new footage in the other trailers. So This was good. This got me kind of amped up.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's probably one of the better trailers out there for all the shows. It changed my mindset completely, because I was like, yay, Legends coming back. It's going to be cool, but I have no idea what they're doing, magic creatures. And then I watched this trailer, and I'm just flat out excited now. Just completely can't wait for this to get started so that we can talk about it.
Yay.
So what else did you get from Comic-Con? You got some news here, a few things that I didn't know about.
Yeah, and a few things I hadn't seen either. I've actually found a really good article posted by the SyFy Network, and it was called "Everything We've Learned from Comic-Con."
Oh, that's a good source.
Yeah, it was great. There's a link to the article if anybody wants to read it. We're gonna cover pretty much everything in it. But if you wanted to read it in their words, there's a link on our blog post. So I'm just gonna kind of go. I'll just start going through the main points, and we can hammer them out. All right. So the first thing, which we kind of already knew, was that Maisie Richardson Sellers, who plays Amaya, she has been cast, and she's a series regular, but she is a completely new character. Which is really interesting.
That's surprising, because I was surprised that they brought her back again. I thought the story was over for her, and now they're bringing her back as a completely different character. Do we know who yet, or what she's going to be?
A little bit. So they've given a little bit of a tease for it. From what I was reading, it basically sounded like the Amaya's character arc was completely done, but they didn't want to lose Maisie. So they're bringing her back as a completely new character. Her name is Charlie. And we know, all we really know about her is that she gets released with the other magical creatures. So when they kind of changed history and broke down the barriers between the magical world, she's one of the people that comes out.
Huh. So we don't know who this Charlie is.
Nope.
Is she a descendant of the family, of Amaya's family? Like, what's,
No idea. Yeah. I mean, she could be, I don't know if they're going to try and like be funny about it and be like, oh, you kind of look like someone I used to date, like kind of thing. Or if they're just going to completely ignore it and be like, she's a new person. We're just going to pretend it's, I mean, it's the same actress, but obviously it's a different character. So I don't know. We'll have to see how they do it. I don't know.
Well, and obviously Nate's going to see her and he's going to be like, Amaya, who's that? She's not going to know. And I guarantee you we're going to get that scene, but we'll have to see it. Like, so is she going to be a member of the team? Is she going to be on the ship with the Legends, or is she just going to be coming and going? Do we know that?
I don't know. I did not do much digging outside of this article. So if it's out there, I personally am kind of considering that a spoiler. So I don't know what else is going on with her. So we'll just have to find out.
Well, they did release that really cool Legends of Tomorrow poster. Is she on that?
Yeah, she is on that. And so is Nora.
Right.
So, I mean, it could be one of those things where she ultimately ends up teaming up with the Legends, because we don't really know what side Nora is on either. I mean, she's sort of sympathetic because they helped her, and then Ray gave her the little time stone or whatever at the end of last season, but I mean, it's not exactly like as it stands today, it's not like she's exactly on Team Legends. So it might be something where they end up teaming with the two of them because they both have magical powers. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we know Nora can tap into the magical like her father, so.
Right. Well, I mean, since you mentioned her, I
can jump to her real quick.
Yeah, like I hope she's going to be part of the team, but like I'm thinking she's going to be a little bit troubled. One that doesn't quite want to be a fully good character, not yet, because we saw her changing at the end, like you were talking about when they helped her. Mm-hmm. And she did have that little bit of connection to Ray, which is kind of funny because, they're married.
Yes.
So I want her to be part of the team because there was something about the chemistry with her and everybody, every single other actor on the show that she got to act opposite from, she had chemistry with. So I think she's going to fit on this team really, really well. And I'd like to see her there. I just want her to be, I'd like to see her be kind of troubled. Like she wants to be there, but she doesn't quite want to be there because she's been evil for so long. So it's going to take her a while to kind of come out of that. And because of that, I can see her and Mick getting along so well because of their villainous ways.
Yeah, I'd like to see her torn as well. Mm-hmm. I think that would be good.
And then it leads into the other character, Ava, who's also going to be a series regular.
She is, and I'm pretty excited about that. I'm a big fan of the Ava Lance relationship. But more than that, I've really liked her as a character. After she kind of, I don't know, if you let her hair down, kind of stopped being so you gotta follow all the rules and do all of that, stop being so strict. So
yeah, well, it was something that had to be done because just like Nora, Ava was perfectly cast. She had such good chemistry. She fit so well on the show with everybody. And there's just something about her and Sarah Lance that we have all fallen in love with. Neither of them are, swing for the other side to say in real life, but you would never know it because they play it so well. They have such chemistry together. It's amazing. And we've fallen in love with that. And plus, Ava's got such a cool story. That whole idea of her being a clone, I hope they revisit that. I hope they do more with that because she's got such a great story.
Yeah, I would like to see them revisit that clone story as well.
Now, the only thing that I'm worried about, though, is that we don't have a problem like The Flash does, and that's having way too many characters on the show. The Flash struggles with that because there's too many of them that none of them get enough screen time to develop anything or really get a good fleshed out story. And now Legends, it looks like they're kind of getting up there with their character count. I hope they know how to handle it and control it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll just have to see how it goes. They're used to dealing with a big cast. They've always had a big cast, and it's worked decently well for the most part. Well, let's knock a few of these little things out of the way. Like, it was confirmed, at least in this article, and we kind of knew this already, that both Firestorm and Captain Cold are not going to be returning. So I don't know if they can get creative and let Victor come back for an episode or two, but they're not going to bring back Jax and him as Firestorm, and they're definitely not. And Wentworth Miller, I mean, we knew he was done. He's been done.
Yeah, Captain Cold was done. Wentworth Miller's just done with the DC universe. He's not coming back to it anymore. And I'm just going to be honest here, but I have to say that I don't even miss Jax. Even when he left and he came back a few episodes later for the finale, I wasn't even excited to see him. I didn't even miss him then. And now that a full summer has gone by, honestly, he's a character that just didn't grow for me. And now that this much time has passed, it doesn't matter to me. He's gone. He's gone. We don't need him back.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm kind of sad to lose Firestorm, but not. Yeah, I mean, Jax, he was getting to be hit or miss for me. So,
well, Firestorm was trouble for the show because he really was too powerful. They had to severely limit him with what he could do all the time, and that really killed a lot of the story because it's just like gagging watching them. Well, Victor Garber has to stay on the ship while Jax runs off to help the team. Well, okay, so now he can't become Firestorm. Like there's just so many cheap ways they wrote in to not allow Firestorm to take shape, and it really ruined a lot of the episodes with what they were doing. So I liked Firestorm, but he wasn't good for the show. Too powerful. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we've heard that Bebo will return. Sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to see Bebo really either, but told you the writers love him.
Just don't understand. Let it be a one-off joke. I just hope him coming back doesn't ruin what's going to look like it's going to be such a great season that's coming. I don't want him to step in at the worst time and completely ruin an episode like he did in the episode he showed up in.
Yep. So we'll have to see what happens with that, but just beware. Right. He is returning. We've already talked about this, so we don't have to touch on this too much, but it's definitely been very, very confirmed. Wally West is not returning. They're going to wrap up his arc over on Flash, and then Keenan is stepping away.
Yeah, I think he got contracted for 3 episodes on The Flash, and we've already seen him in the premiere, so... And you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm saying good because he never fit on any of the shows. And I feel bad for laughing, but I find it odd that they could never write any stories for him or fit him in properly on The Flash, which sucked because Wally West is a huge part of the Flash history.
I know.
And now they have Nora running around on The Flash as their daughter, and she seems to fit right in, and they've got stuff for her to do. They've got a story written for her, and it's such a slap to Wally's face. It's crazy.
Well, I think they definitely learned their lessons with his character for sure, so looks like they're trying to correct it through Nora. We'll see.
Yeah, but again, it brings it back to the problem Flash has. Too many characters. That's why Flash has really fallen off the mark, because season 1 and 2, it was a very small group, and we really got to be attached to the characters because they spent so much time on each of them. And that's been lost with so many people and everybody only getting a couple minutes an episode. It's too bad.
Yeah, I mean, it gets hard. We'll just have to see how things move going forward.
Yeah.
The only thing was that Phil Klemmer was quoted in the article, and he said that he's going to be, quote, darker, more troubled, more mysterious. So we kind of are getting some flavors of that from this latest trailer. But they said he's gone through some stuff kind of in the interim while he's been away from the Legends. So we'll get to kind of see what that is and how that's impacted him.
Well, that's good. I mean, in the trailers, they're certainly showing him being a lot more darker and mysterious. And they show him actually performing some magic. We saw him drawing lines on the floor and saying incantations, but not actually weaving spells and magic coming out of his hands. And we see that in the trailer, so that looks pretty cool. I'm interested in seeing that.
Yes, and that's a lot more true to how his series was and how the animated series are. So I'm excited that they're going to bring that back in.
Yeah.
Very happy about that.
Cool. So what about a big bad for this season?
Okay, so I thought this was really interesting because we hadn't really heard anything about a big bad. No teasing like there normally is. No, we've got this big thing coming. So it looks like instead of facing off with like a giant time demon or some sort of time traveling person or whatever, they're just gonna kind of take on evil, like literally. So they're just going to look at everyday evil and institutional evil. So I don't know if that's more of the quote monster of the week concept.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, like you said, that's as far as we know. I think if it's a villains of the week every week, that might be more fun because they won't be tied up trying to fulfill a big expectation with all the buildup, which is what last season was, and why for us it was a fizzle and a crash for a finale with Mollis, because they built up Mollis all season long to be this demonic force that, like, how are we ever going to stop him? And then they pulled the Bebo stunt, and the love for Bebo aside, it made Mollis seem like an absolute laugh. You know, like what was all the buildup for when this is all it took to beat him? It really just like as a story concept as a whole for the whole season, complete misfire for me because of what they did with Mollis. So if we don't have that hanging over our heads this season, that there's a big bad they have to worry about and try to write a story around, it could make our episodes way better and just a lot more fun overall without anything kind of dragging them down that they have to worry about.
That's true. That's a good way to look at it. The only concern with something like that is with 20 episodes, it can start to feel very procedural. So hopefully they can weave in a pretty good overarching story that doesn't necessarily revolve around the defeating a big bad, but that is still compelling enough mythology.
Well, I think with the characters that we have and the ones that we love so much, I'm sure they can write compelling stories around them. That can be the overarching story for the season.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. All right, so I had not heard about this. There is a new hero joining.
Okay, this surprised me too when I saw this in your notes. I did not hear this at all.
Yeah, it was in this article, and I was like, oh, well, that was news to me. So a character called Alaska U, who I know absolutely nothing about.
Me neither.
So there's a description for her character. She's a typical 20-something, easily swept up by romantic notions and fantasy novels. She's supposed to be an expert in magical creatures. And so I think she's going to team up with the Legendaires because they're probably going to need some help. And supposedly she should hopefully counter Constantine's kind of dark and dreary, countenance, if you will. So we'll have to see how that goes.
See, now just in the description, I'm just thinking to myself, okay, that sounds cool. I like the sound of her. I'm thinking she would partner up with Nick really well because he's so nerdy about history, but he's also nerdy about magic and fantasy and all kinds of stuff. And that's why him and Ray get along so well.
That's true.
So for her to be all expertising, I can make up a word there, on fantasy and magical creatures, that's just going to excite Nick because he's going to want to know about it. And he's oh yeah, apparently during the Dark Ages, these mystical elves, kidnapped children and held them for or whatever, and she's going to know all about it. So it'll feed his thirst for knowledge about historical fact, even though it's fantastical fact.
That's true.
So
that could be fun.
That to me is an angle I'm looking at it, and it makes it sound. I don't know if she's a character from the comic books, I've never heard of Alaska U before. So if they're just making one up for the show just to help our team track down magical creatures, then that's fine. That's cool.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like that's what they're doing. So could be fun.
Yeah.
All right. So this next point, I'm very sad. I'm very, very sad about, because we're not joining the crossover this year.
Yeah. See that?
Which makes me very sad.
It makes me sad, but then I was thinking about it before I reveal my next announcement. I was thinking about it, and for a writing standpoint, it kind of makes sense because the Legends, they're kind of out on the outside from the rest of the DC universe, from Flash, Arrow, Black Lightning, Supergirl. They're out in the time stream, traveling all over the place. They're not really part of what's going on in the here and now, and it's hard to include them because it's like, yay, we're having some big event that everyone has to deal with. Okay, well, send them a message. They'll jump back into current time and help in the fight. It kind of makes our team, I don't know, it's a little bit light and fluffy in a sense that we're not part of the story that they're all involved in. We're just kind of like the extra soldiers brought in to help in the fight. So I can see that. Yeah, I can just see that we don't need to be part of it. Unless the crossover involves time travel and something like that, we don't really need to be part of it. It sucks because that just means we don't get to be with everybody. But they did just recently announce, it was the showrunners for Legends, that they will be having a crossover with themselves, which I don't know what that means.
What?
Yeah.
What the hell does that
That's
mean?
what they said. They're crossing over with themselves, and they have some type of special, massive episode planned that is so off the charts crazy that they want to do that just so that their show also has a ton of fun during that huge crossover week, so they're not left behind.
Well, that's exciting.
So,
that still doesn't help me because I want to talk about Batwoman.
But what can that mean? Crossing over with themselves? Like I have no idea what they're talking about there. That's a mystery, which is fun. It's a fun one to wonder about because now we got to wait till early December to see what the heck that is. But still,
Maybe they're going back in time and literally crossing over with themselves, breaking time again. That could be fun.
Who knows? But well, yeah. So I mean, tomorrow's Legends podcast here means we can't be part of any crossover events or anything, but you guys know
you're already part of it, so I'm the only one that gets left out.
You get left out, so maybe we can have a little guest spot for you over on Arrow Squad, and you can come over and talk about stuff there because I think you have a bit of a thing for Batwoman, maybe.
Yeah, it's Batman. Well, it's part of the Batman stuff. I must confess, I'm not as familiar with Batwoman, but I don't care. It looks amazing, and I want to talk about it.
Okay. Well, we got 8 episodes to go, so we'll work something out behind the scenes.
Yay. Okay.
Still, though, crossing over with themselves. What does that mean? I want to have some theories from our fans. What do you guess that means? That'll be fun.
Yeah, let's see what people think. My theory is time travel.
Okay. I don't have a theory yet. Unless they're alternate dimension doppelgangers of themselves, and they're all playing 2 or 3 versions of themselves. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, who knows?
All right, one last thing here. What do you got?
The last thing was that it looks like we may get some resolution for Sarah and Ava. There were a couple new scenes in that trailer, and I'm not going to lie, they looked pretty happy.
Ooh, steamy stuff that we briefly saw. Yep.
So I hope they keep that going, that they keep their relationship happy and healthy, and that they don't turn it into a drama for the sake of drama, because I hate that.
Yeah, so. They were so much more fun when they're just happy with each other. And
exactly.
Let's just see Sarah finally be happy with one person.
Yeah.
Stop sleeping around the time stream. Come on.
Yes.
All right, Harley. So we've gone over the trailers. We've gone over some news from Comic-Con, and we've discussed a bunch of things. So I want to know now, overall, what are your hopes for this season that's coming?
I am really looking forward to a good season that is dark enough that it's got the good like Constantine elements in it, but that it still keeps the light, goofy pieces that we're used to from Legends. I mean, I think Legends is best when it kind of just does its thing and you still have the humor mixed with the serious, but you know, it's fun, but it can be dark. Like I just want it all mixed together and kind of mixed up very well. I think they do it. That's what they do, and I'm really looking forward to kind of introducing some of the craziness of Constantine into that.
Okay.
I mean, like smaller things. I would like Ray and Nate to not be as dumb. I really would like them to redeem Ray's character. If I'm being honest, I'd like them to. He's the heart, yes, but you don't have to dumb him down so much. He's very smart in his own right, so
let him start creating again and inventing. Yeah, I hear you there for sure.
So what about you? What's your hopes?
Well, kind of riding off of what you said, I don't mind our show being the goofy one of the bunch. What bugs me and what's bugged me last season the most was they would have an episode that started off serious and had a good story going and everything, and then they injected the stupid humor and the goofiness and just completely ruined what I was really starting to enjoy. So what I want them to do, which they've done in season 1 and season 2, is that our show is so good at being serious, and it's brought tears to our eyes many, many times. If you're going to do a serious story, do a serious story and let that be the episode. If you want to be goofy and have a blast and be silly, have an episode that's just that. Don't mix them up. Don't go from one complete shift to the other. It's too stark. It's too drastic for me, and it just loses it for me. I love when they're funny and they're goofy and they're having a good time. Start with that and just go with it, and we can just laugh the entire episode and have a good time, which they do really well. And what I find is they can have a funny episode and inject serious moments that are really touching, but they can't have a serious episode and inject humor and try to be funny, because it just doesn't work for me. So that's kind of the mess up. So I hope they've got a better direction of and control on handling that this season. And
yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And then again with the characters, I hope we don't have too many. I want our characters to continue to flesh themselves out, and I just hope for the new characters, I hope to see the interactions that we mentioned. I think Mick and Nora Dark will be awesome together. And I think Nick and the new character could be a good pairing up. So we'll see.
Yeah, could be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything individual about the characters you're hoping to see? Like, do you want to see any character story arcs progress that maybe they were working on from last season? Something you want to see continued?
Oh, that's a good question. I really have liked Zari's arc, so I would like to just see her feel more at home, continue to feel more at home with the team, and continue to be more a part of the team. They did kind of a good job of, to use a poor analogy, aging up her character, if you will, with the Groundhog Day episode. Yeah. That it was a great plot device and it worked really well. So I'd like to just see her to continue to grow and work well with the team and fit in and be a solid part of the team. Yeah, and I mean, you already talked about Ray getting back to his inventor ways and stuff, so I totally agree with you there. We mentioned Nick getting back to his historian geek out ways instead of worrying about a romance. Get back to him being a historian, because I thought he was such a helpful character when they first brought him on. So I want to get him back to that. Sarah, it looks like she's taken this leadership by the throat and saying, yeah, we are heroes now. So I love the sound of that. What about Mick? Like we saw Mick grow so much last season, just with the fun stuff when he was writing his romance novel and, starting to show a bit of emotion and starting to show that he actually cares about this team. This team is now his family and his friends. And even though he still likes to, I don't care about anybody, he still likes to do that. Like that's what's made him so lovable. So I'd like to see them continue with that. But who's he gonna open up to and really start to, connect with this season? I don't know. I think it's worked best when they've kind of just let him do it at unexpected times. You know, you just give someone a little pep talk or say something that shows how insightful he was, that he kind of not only like understood where they were coming from, but was paying enough attention to know that there's something going on in the first place. So
Right.
I like it when they do it subtly. I like it when they show that he can be subtle and that he does have some level of intelligence. It's just a little bit different than everybody else's.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. I totally agree with you there. Yeah, he's really, he likes to act dumb or show that he's not the smartest guy, but he actually really is. He's pretty observant and I don't know if sensitive is the right word, but he clues into things.
Yeah.
When you don't think he is. So, and I love when he just gets right pissed off and just takes the mission by the throat and this is how we're doing it. That's always fun too. But,
oh yeah.
Cool.
Bull in a china shop, that one.
Yes. Well, there is something from last season we have not finished off with yet, and that is our quotes of the week. We have a couple from the finale episode, because we never did come back in the summer to do a midsummer episode. We just, life got in the way. So we still have our winning quotes from the finale episode, and then tagged along with that, I tasked Harley here to pick her favorite quote of the entire season, so we have a season-long favorite quote from the two of us. She's got her funny one, I've got my serious one. You ready for those?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Shape out an eagle!
All right, Harley. Winning funny quote from our season finale.
Was called expendable.
You and Amaya were born to wield the totems, and the rest of us are just
losers. That's why Rip picked us, Snart, the professor, those stupid Hulk flying chicken people.
That's what that one was. I was like, what in the world is expendable?
That's right, because we always name things in kind of relation to what the scene is about. But man, 6-7 months later, I don't remember these ones at all.
I don't either. But we do get to keep with the chicken theme with my favorite quote.
Okay. Your favorite quote from the entire season 3. Which one is that?
I went with the first thing that popped into my mind, and that, of course, was the quote entitled, "No More Chickens."
And what episode was that one from?
It was from, well, I was going to give it away. It's from guest starring John Noble.
Episode 17.
Yup. Mr. Noble, we have some last-minute rewrites.
No worries, we'll fix it in time.
Tell Peter Jackson, no more chickens. Huh? 4 this morning. Huh?
So what's up, mate? Yeah, so the rewrites from Peter, and he'd like me to run the lines with you.
You're kidding. Okay. Let's see. Nora, you must heed my command.
That's good. That's good.
Who's Nora?
Nora, she's a new character that they wanted to beef up the female presence in the film.
You can't do that, mate. It's Tolkien's Lord of the Rings.
I know, but it's a studio note.
Oh, studio note. Very good note. Yeah.
From the top?
Nora, you must heed my command.
What is it, Master?
Go to the Waverider, Nora.
I cannot go to the Waverider.
The totems are ripe for the picking.
This is crap, isn't it?
Hey? Who wrote this? Filmer boy, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The totems are ripe for the picking. Your father will lead you to them.
My father?
That was crap, isn't it? I love that.
It's so funny.
I love John Noble. I saw him at Dragon Con too.
Cool. He's such a good guest star. He's fun, and he's such a good character actor with everything that he's done. If you watched Fringe or whatever, he's such a good character actor.
He's just an amazing person. I really, truly enjoy seeing him. He's another one. I almost like literally ran into him in the hallway. I was walking past and I did like a triple take. I'm like, oh, John Noble's just chilling in the middle of Dragon Con. What the hell? It was great.
That's why you need to go to Dragon Con, because it's like that. It's just relaxed compared to every other Comic Con out there.
And the actors actually want to be there because it's not contractually obligated. So that's the only reason we get them to come there is if they want to. So.
Cool. Well, those were funny. The fact that we were still laughing this much many months later, those are some good funny quotes to have our season end on and to kick this one off with. So good job.
Oh, God, it kills me every time. Oh, all right, let's go on to the serious ones so I can cry for a different reason.
Well, from our season finale, the winner of the serious scene was called Dear Dad.
Door.
Dad, why?
Because I love you. And I couldn't watch you become a monster. Like me.
Oh, yeah.
That surprises me that won.
Jeez, but I remember the scene now. I mean, that was a turning point for Damien because he sacrificed everything to save his daughter instead.
He sure did.
I remember we had a pretty good talk about that.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
All right, so I actually spent some time today before we sat down playing a whole bunch of quotes, looking for the one that I deemed my favorite serious scene. And the one that I came up with, it is a little bit funny in a sense, but I just found
so good.
It's the music in this one. The music and what the character is saying kind of encompasses the whole season and what our characters have gone through. It's like he's telling the story, and the music's just powerful and dramatic. And when you listen to the words, it actually is a very telling way to lead into our new season because of this silly one, which is called Dungeon Master Gary, if you all remember that one. It's a little Dungeons and Dragons nerd speak, which really has a lot of meaning going into the start of this new season. So here it is.
Fresh from a successful crusade, our team knew the fight was far from over. In fact, the true battle was only just beginning. In order to defeat the demon and his cabal of evil, we need to be at full strength, which is going to be hard given the losses we sustained on our last quest. Some wounds are so deep, they never truly heal. So the question is, are you prepared to join us on this mission, most deadly?
See what I mean?
I'm glad you picked that one. I love that one.
Doesn't that encompass everything they went through last season and then fully kick off what's coming this season just by what he's saying?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's perfect.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So there you go, guys. A little taste of the quotes of the week, and I cannot wait to get into them for this season.
Me either.
All right, Harley, what time is it?
It's time for feedback.
Feedback.
Holy Twin Powers, activate!
Man, I do not have a singing voice yet. I'm going to have to work on that. Boy, oh boy. All right. We just got a little bit of pre-show or pre-season feedback that Harley asked for, and we got a couple posts.
We did. We had 2 posts on Facebook and a voicemail. So I guess we'll start with Facebook. This one's from Karina, and she says that all I don't want is for Maisie's new character to get involved with Nate.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we hear ya. Nate and Amaya were really boring, and they deserved better. Also, I want Nate and Ray to go back to being nerds and geniuses. Hear that. Oh. And I hope Sarah and Ava have a healthy relationship without all the drama of breaking up and getting back together like every single show does. Legends was never that kind of show, so just let them be happy and kick some butt.
Karina, are you in our heads or what? Because you totally felt what we were saying. And just put it in your own words. Every single point you made, me and Harley are both thinking, yes, yes, yes.
Oh, yeah. Right on track with you.
That's awesome. Cool, Karina. Well, thanks for getting that into us. Next up, we've got a voicemail from our green butterfly. She managed to fly something into us, and here she is.
Hi, Flash and Harley. I have no predictions for the next season of Legends, but I do have hopes. I hope that it's not too scary. I'm really interested in Constantine, and I hope he brings something new and exciting to the story, but I hope it's not all scary all the time. And I did love magic in the Arrow universe, so I'm not sad that they're bringing it into Legends, and I think it will be very interesting and bring something new to the season. I just hope it's not freaky. And I looked at the season pass artwork if you were to buy a digital copy of Legends, and Bebo is on the art, so I'm a little bit worried that we're going to have our little blue friend, and I hope it doesn't make Flash want to leave the show, because I love you guys together, and I love this podcast, and I hope you can hang in there, even if they decide to keep Bebo around.
Aww.
And I really hope that the Avalanche ship keeps sailing, because I'm really enjoying Barry and Iris together, and Oliver and Felicity together, because being a superhero is hard, and the type of life that they have to deal with is difficult. And I want Sarah to have someone to come home to that understands her job, the crazy time travelness of it all, that she can actually talk to and rely on. So I hope the Avalanche ship keeps sailing, and we keep getting funny scenes with Gary, because, let's face it, Gary is pricelessly funny. Harley, you did a fantastic job at DragonCon. Thank you so much for bringing that recording home, and you did such a great job on your first panel.
Thanks.
And I just can't wait for our show to come back and tomorrow's Legends to be back regularly in my podcast feed. Until then, have a super week. Green Butterfly out.
Ain't she the sweetest?
Yes.
Thanks so much for that, Justina. It's great to have your voice back with us. And we didn't bring up Gary. I'm glad you brought up, because it reminded me to talk about him. He's actually been upped to, I don't think quite a full regular, but he's recurring status for sure. We're going to see a lot more of him this season.
That's good. I mean, I'm always for more Gary.
Yeah.
I love him.
He is so funny. So hopefully we'll see what they do with him. I mean, he's in the trailers, so he's obviously going to be around.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a bit. Yeah. So, but awesome. All right, and what's our last little post we got from Darian Mitchell?
Yeah, we got another Facebook response, and he posted several.
Okay.
So I kind of just ran them all together. So I'm going to kind of read them. It's a lot of questions, and we've touched on most of them actually throughout our discussion, but I'm just going to go ahead and kind of read his thoughts here.
Sure.
He says, I really want Jax to come back as Deathstorm. Maybe since they are going on the whole spiritual run this season, he's possessed by evil and can't help what is going on, etc. Now that could be interesting.
Okay.
If they went that route, that could actually be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
With Mick Rory complaining about the changes on the ship, do you think they will keep him on the show? Oh, I hope they do. He's half the reason I watch. Us too.
I don't think they're going to lose him anytime soon, because the actor himself, Dominic Purcell, he is so proud of the show. If you follow his Twitter feed or anything, he talks a lot about it. And there was one post he put on there recently where he does a lot of swearing, but he basically gave this speech that he says he knows our show is goofy and fun, and they can just cut loose and do whatever they want, and he loves it so much, and he doesn't give a boop about what anyone else thinks. their show is so much fun, and he thinks it's the best of the bunch. And he's very proud of it. So I don't think he's personally going to go anywhere.
I certainly hope not. I love his character.
Yeah.
All right. He says, we need a new Atom suit. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I guess, I'll upgrade it a little bit for sure.
Yeah. Legends is not a part of the crossover this year. Do you think they are being replaced by Black Lightning? Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Has that been rumored?
No, I mean, Black Lightning hasn't even been introduced into this universe yet. They included him in the summer sizzle reel when they were all getting dressed up in the locker rooms and stuff like that. So I'm thinking they'll eventually connect him, but I don't think it'll come in this crossover yet. I think it's just the 3 shows they're doing.
All right. All right. So these last 2 are just kind of funny, but it says, will Mick get to slay a dragon?
I hope so.
And will Nora and Haircut find true love?
I think how funny
One could
would that
argue they already have.
Yeah. I would love to see Mick slay dragon because he seems so excited about it. Just to see him fight one would be so cool.
Oh, it'd be great. Oh, I'd love to see that.
Fire against fire, eh?
Yes, and then we can get some more Lord of the Rings references. Well, I guess technically Hobbit references, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun. Well, thanks for that, guys. Thanks for helping get a little bit of feedback in for our preseason stuff. I can't wait for the season to kick off. I hope you guys all get on board and send us some feedback because we love talking to you guys and hearing what your thoughts were after each episode. And in order to do that, this is what you got to do.
If you would like to be part of the show, you can send in feedback to tomorrowslegends@gmail.com, spelled with 1 R. You can also reach us on Twitter at Tomorrow's Legends, also with 1 R. Join our Facebook page at facebook.com/groups/tomorrowslegends and become part of the community.
Well, Harley, I think that wraps us for a preseason.
That sure does. But we talked a lot.
We did. Here we are. We're talking in the beginning, but we're going to trim our episodes down from now on. And what do? We kick it off with a typically long episode.
Sorry. Not sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I always say let the podcast's content dictates the length. So as long as you got good stuff to talk about, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can always listen to it in spurts, whatever. That's how I feel anyway. That's what I do, and that's how we treat our show. So as long as you guys still enjoy us and everything.
Yeah.
One little thing to mention, though, the new other DC show, Titans, started. I don't know how many people have seen the premiere. I know you did not see it, Jess.
I have not yet.
Yeah, I watched it. I'll just say this about it. It's the darkest show on the DC universe, I think, even more so than Arrow. It has swearing, it has a lot of violence, a lot of death, a lot of gore. I was a little bit surprised that they're doing that with the young teenaged superheroes, so it's surprising. I'm not sure. It was I found it really slow. Really slow build up in the beginning, so I'm not sure. I'm going to watch it to see where it goes, but anyway, that's my initial feeling.
Cool. Well, hopefully I'll get some time to give it a shot, and we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I got nothing else, Harley. I think I am just excited for the show to kick off in a few short days.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. All right, Legendaires, thanks for being with us. Can't wait to get started. We will see you guys all next week. This is The Flash, signing off.
And this is Harley Quinn. I'm out.
Tomorrow's Legends is not affiliated with CBS, Warner Brothers, or the CW. We're a fan-made podcast for entertainment purposes only and are part of the Cybercast Network.